When we look at someone who's highly successful, it's so easy to imagine their success came from some single heroic moment. But what if that's not the real story? What if the truth behind what they've achieved is something way more accessible to all of us? So let's start right there. Let's ask that big question. What if our main belief about success, that it requires some kind of massive, life-altering leap, is just, well, wrong? All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to tear down that myth of overnight success. Then we'll dive into the real foundation, the daily systems and the mindset that truly drive achievement. And we'll wrap up with the one small step you can take literally today. First up, let's tackle the biggest myth of them all, the one that honestly holds so many of us back. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? When you think about any huge accomplishment, it was never really built in a day. Success isn't some big event, it's an accumulation. It's all about those small, consistent things you do that over time add up to something incredible. And that right there, that reframes everything. Instead of waiting around for some lightning bolt of motivation to strike, the focus shifts to the small, repeatable actions that you can actually control. It's a process, not a lottery ticket. And just getting your head around that idea is probably the most important step you can take. So now that we've busted that myth, we can start building. And, every great structure has to start with a solid foundation. For people who perform at a high level, that foundation is built on 3 core pillars. And let's be really clear here, these are not just nice-to-haves. They're the absolute, non-negotiable core of high performance. If you ignore these, any other system you try to build is just going to be built on shaky ground. Now, this is a really powerful way to think about it. Feeling to manage your health isn't just a personal feeling, it's a professional one. It directly impacts your energy, your clarity, your decision-making. So in a very real way, it's a failure of your responsibility to the people who are counting on you. This is exactly where boundaries become so critical. This whole idea of winning the morning is only possible if you fiercely protect that time. See, successful people don't just let the day happen to them. They use their mornings for the things that matter most, the things that set them up for a win. Okay, so your foundation is in place. How do you build on it? Well, you create a structure for your day. This next part is all about designing systems that basically make success the path of least resistance. This really sums it up, doesn't it? The 2 ways you can live your day. You can be reactive. You wake up, you grab your phone, you let the world's demands dictate your entire agenda. Or you can be offensive. You start with intention, with a clear plan, and you know exactly what a successful day looks like. High performers, they live an offensive life. Motivation, well, it's a feeling. It comes and it goes. But a system? That's a structure. It's reliable. This is exactly why people pre-order healthy meals or hire a trainer. It takes willpower out of the equation and makes the right choice the easy choice. So how do you stay on track with all this? There's a simple but really powerful system called the 3-3-3 rule. It makes sure that what you're doing today is always aligned with your biggest goals. Your 3 tasks for the day, they feed your 3 priorities for the week, which build toward your month, which then achieves your goals for the year. This is how you connect that single brick to the finished wall. So, we have our foundation, we have our daily systems. The final piece of this puzzle is the internal game. It's about mastering the one thing you have total control over, your own mind. I love this idea. The most game-changing ideas, they don't happen in chaotic meetings. They come from quiet moments of deep thought. That's why top CEOs and leaders literally schedule this thinking time, like it's the most important meeting of their week. Because it is. And this isn't just about business strategy. This is for deep, honest, personal reflection. You have to ask yourself the hard questions. What are you avoiding? What are you truly afraid of? The answers, that's where your biggest opportunities for growth are hiding. And finally, you've got to track your progress. Successful people live by this simple principle. What gets measured gets managed. They create a simple dashboard, something just like this, to track the metrics that really matter across all areas of life, from how well they slept, to how many hours of deep work they got in. Okay, we've gone through the myth, the foundation, the systems, and the mindset. Now let's bring it all home. Let's make this real for you right now. If there is only one thing you remember from this whole explainer, please let it be this. Any grand future you can possibly imagine, it isn't built by some huge act of will. It's built by the tiny, almost invisible choices you make every single day. That is the whole game. So that brings us to the final question. And this one is for you. Don't get overwhelmed trying to change everything at once. Just focus on laying one single brick. What is the smallest positive habit you will start today? Because that, right there, is where everything begins.